Hey there! If you're coming to Andorra this winter, there are 5 things you need to know to plan the perfect trip. Let's start with where to stay. Should you book your accommodation in the capital or in a mountain village? Well, it depends. If you're here mainly for skiing, I recommend booking your accommodation at one of the villages with direct access to the ski resort. There are 3 ski resorts here in Andorra. One is Pal Arinsal, which has 2 sectors, Pal and Arinsal. The other one is Ordin Orcalis, and the last one is Gran Valira. This is the largest one in the country and has 7 different sectors: Encamp, Canillo, Altarter, Soldeu, Paratol, Grau Roig and El Pas de la Casa. If you want to ski in Pal Arinsal, you have direct access to the slopes from La Massana and Arinsal. If you're thinking about skiing in Ordin Orcalis, it's good to know that this ski resort is pretty isolated compared to others in the area. There's no direct access from any village to Ordin Orcalis, so your only option is to either drive there or take a public bus. If you're planning on skiing in Gran Valira, then you have direct access to the slopes from Encamp, Canillo, Altarter, Soldeu, and El Pas de la Casa. Also, it's very easy to get from any of those mountain villages to Andorra la Vella by bus, in case you want to go shopping, to the cinema, or to a restaurant. The other option is to stay in Andorra la Vella, or Escaldes and Gordany, which used to be a separate village, but now they are both connected. Staying there feels more like staying in a big city, because there's a lot of entertainment and shopping options, but the city is surrounded by mountains, so it's beautiful. Also, there are buses that link Andorra la Vella and Escaldes and Gordany with all the ski resorts, making it easy to stay in the capital and spend the day skiing. Which takes us to the next point. Which is the best way to get to Andorra? The nearest international airports are Barcelona and Girona, both in Catalonia, and Toulouse, in France. Andorra doesn't have a train station, so the easiest and most convenient option to get here is by bus. If you land in Barcelona, there are 2 bus companies that go straight from the airport to Andorra. They are Anbus and Direct Bus, and both have similar prices. These buses also make a stop in Barcelona city, so they are a good option if you're spending some days in Barcelona and then want to travel to Andorra. The buses run between 6 and 8 times a day, so there's plenty to choose from. And the journey takes around 3 hours. The other option to reach Andorra is by car, but take into account that Andorra is a different country, so if you're renting a car either in France or Spain, you might need a special permission to drive here. So it's wise to talk to the rental agency before making the trip to make sure that everything's okay. On Friday and Sunday evenings, there are usually huge traffic jams in the border between Spain and Andorra, so it's good to take this into account when planning your trip. And what about moving around Andorra? You have 2 options: driving or public buses. The most convenient option if you're here for skiing is public transport. There are several buses running between most mountain villages, ski resorts, and the capital. So if your plan is skiing, visiting a village, and eating out, then the bus is perfect. On the other hand, if you're planning on moving around the country and visiting isolated places, then the car is probably your best option. But there's 2 things you need to take into account. One is that in Andorra la Vella and Escaldes and Gordany, it's almost impossible to park for free. So save time and sanity by leaving your car in a parking lot. Same happens with some mountain villages like La Massana, Encamp or Canillo. It's super difficult to find a free parking spot there, so it's just better to not waste time and pay a parking lot. If you're thinking about driving to the ski resorts, you'll be fine, as most of them have free parking lots. The second thing is that from the 1st of November to the 15th of May, you're required to have winter tires or snow chains in the car. Failing to do so can result in a fine of 180 euros, and we've seen police several times checking for it, especially when it snows or in the roads that lead to the ski resorts. Okay, third thing to take into account when planning your trip here is public holidays. When there's a public holiday in Catalonia, many people come to the mountains for a winter break or to ski, so accommodation prices get higher and places get busier. So if you can, avoid coming on the 6th, 8th, 25th and 26th of December, the 1st and 6th of January, and the 18th of April. Anyway, December is usually the month that there's less snow, but yeah, that's not a hard truth. I'd say that the best months for skiing are usually January and February, but this really varies from year to year. Again, it really depends on the weather, but the snowfall probabilities are higher during those months. If on the other hand you're coming to Andorra for the Christmas vibes, I recommend visiting on the 2nd or 3rd week of December. It will be less crowded than during Christmas, but still you'll feel the Christmassy spirit all around, with markets and the Christmas lights. Next thing on the list is what to pack. Although it's usually sunny in Andorra in winter, it can also get really cold. I'm talking highs of about 10 degrees and lows of about -10 degrees. So when packing, it's good to take a well-insulated jacket or a heavy parka, thermal layers, gloves, a beanie, a scarf or a neck or face covering, warm socks and waterproof boots. If you're thinking about going for a walk in the mountains or doing a hike in the snow, I recommend packing micro spikes in case you find ice. They are really helpful and can save you from falling in more than one occasion. I also think it's really useful to pack 2 pairs of boots, in case one gets wet or dirty from a hike in the snow. And finally, let's talk about phone calls and internet. Although it's surrounded by EU countries, Andorra is not part of the EU, so roaming doesn't usually apply here. I highly recommend turning off your mobile data when entering the country, as internet rates here are crazily expensive. To stay connected during your trip, you can buy a SIM card with Telecom, which is the only provider here in Andorra, or rely on Wi-Fi. You'll find plenty of places with free Wi-Fi like shops, hotels, ski resorts. There's even free Wi-Fi in the city center of Andorra la Vella. So, that's a wrap. I hope this video has been useful for planning your next trip. Thanks for watching and see you soon!